Maybe you've been soldering for a while, or maybe you're just starting out, but to better understand how flux work on electronics, I made this video. I will explain and show what flux is for, what type exists, and how to solder reliably, cleanly, and easy. What is soldering flux? Flux is a chemical or organic compound used to prepare the electronics PCB pads for soldering. It removes oxides from PCB pads and component leads in electronics. Flux also reduces the surface tension in molten solder, helping it to flow more easily across the surface into vias and between pads and component leads. Without flux, solder becomes shapeless and uncontrollable. It won't wet the surface, stick to the iron tip, and just smash across the board. Proper soldering won't happen. This is called poor wetting. What flux forms are there? Flux comes in different forms: liquid forms, gel forms, powder inside soldering wire, solid resin chunks. Most importantly, different fluxes have different activity levels. For assembling or repair modern PCB, it's best to use gel-based no-clean fluxes of class Roll 0, Rel 0, or Roll 0. Must be indicated on the packaging or sticker. They don't require mandatory cleaning, but it's still good practice to clean the board after soldering. If you need to restore heavily oxidized pads, you will need a more active flux like a Rom 0 that is capable of removing corrosion and tinning. Active fluxes must be cleaning after soldering. For tinning wires, liquid fluxes are better. They easily penetrate between strands and help to solder flow evenly, forming a strong connection. Important: active fluxes should never be used on wires. During soldering, it seeps under insulation and remains there. Even after soldering, it stays active and will slowly corrode the conductor, leading to failure. Always use no-clean Roll 0 fluxes for wires. How to use soldering fluxes? Flux helps solder wet the metal surface. Without it, reliable soldering is almost impossible. The soldering process differs slightly for PCB components and wires, so let's break it down. For soldering PCB components, heat the soldering iron to 320 degrees of Celsius, clean the tip using cleaning pad sponge or brass sponge, apply a small amount of flux to the pad and component lead, take a drop of solder into the tip and to transfer it to the joint, heating both pads and lead for the 2 seconds. Don't overheat, holding longer than 2 seconds can damage the pad or component. For soldering this kind of components, you can use liquid or gel form of soldering fluxes like you want. Important, you can see this dot here and this marking here. After soldering, it's recommended to remove residues of soldering fluxes, especially if it's active. For soldering wires, heat the iron tip to 300 or 320 degrees of Celsius, clean the iron tip with any sponge, strip the wire insulation with wire stripper and apply liquid flux to the strands. Bring the iron with molten solder to the wire and hold 1 or 2 seconds until solder flows between the strands. Don't overheat, insulation may begin to melt or retract. Always use no-clean Roll 0 fluxes for wires. All the classification of soldering flux beyond Roll 0 are explained in a separate video, link in description. Which soldering fluxes is best? There is no universal answer, it depends on the task. If you're assembling or repairing electronics by hand, use gel or liquid no-clean fluxes, class Roll 0. It is safe and effective for more modern PCB and components. If you are dealing with oxidized or dirty pads, you can use a more active fluxes such as Rom 0. But be very careful. Active fluxes always requires cleaning. If left on the board, it will cause leakage currents, copper corrosion and damage to the solder joints. For all type wires, stranded or solid, always use no-clean Roll 0 fluxes. Active flux can seep under insulation and cause corrosion and failure weeks or months later. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you. In description on this video you can find links to my Instagram, my Telegram group, to my website with soldering fluxes and consulting services for electronics manufacturers. Bye bye.